Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D.
It's a pain in the neck is what it is, barking guy. It's a pain in the neck, let me tell you. You ever have a pain in the neck?
Yes.
You know? Do you know their name? Oh, my gosh. Have you been following the Canadian truckers?
Yes.
Did you hear that story in the town hall news? Yvette Harrell, our congresswoman, is trying to pass a bill that would grant asylum to these guys.
Yes.
You know, it's pretty crazy. I understand the desire on the part of the government there in Ottawa to get the streets opened up and get stuff opened up again. But I guess some of the tactics they're using are maybe a little excessive. I don't know. Some lady stood in the way and got trampled by a horse. And the Ottawa police say no one was killed and minor injuries. Well, thank goodness she wasn't killed. But I don't know. It's easy to say go for it with causes that you believe in or support and not look, that way with causes that you don't believe in. And I think that's what we're seeing with Trudeau. He believes in BLM. If BLM had Ottawa shut down and was rioting and burning and doing all that kind of stuff, sounds like he'd be supportive of that. But the truckers come in because they don't want to be told you have to be vaccinated if you're going to do international trucking and all this other kind of stuff. He doesn't believe in that cause, even though the truckers aren't burning buildings and they're basically clogging up the roads, and they're being nuisances is what they're being. They're being annoying with the horn honking and stuff like that. They're being annoying and nuisances, but they're not being violent, from what we've seen. They're annoying, but they're not violent. And but he's martial law. We're going to shut him down. He's moved in the police. It's interesting. And Trudeau even said, if it's a cause I believe in, I'm all for it. Like BLM, Black Lives Matter. Like, whoa. So you're taking sides. So anyway, I'm not sure how that's... And here's the thing, barking guy. The Omicron variant has swept around the world. And we're on the downside of whatever peak that we had from the Omicron exposure. I mean, even our governor, the glorious and righteous Michelle Lujan Grisham, all of a sudden just said, take the masks off in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday. And people are going, what? So why is Trudeau being that way? Why did he flee when the truckers showed up? Why did he never agree to have any of his people? I mean, I can understand maybe he doesn't want to meet with them, but why didn't he have anybody from the government meet with the truckers and talk about and discuss their demands? Because it's a cause he doesn't believe in, and they're violating the law, and they should be punished accordingly. But the thing with the dogs, the thing with the money, the thing with the, everything they've done has just been terrible. It's gone beyond moving them out of the way and open up the streets and stop being annoying. We're going to confiscate your money. We're going to, people that have donated to it, we're going to go after your money. It's, if you're in jail for 8 days and don't do anything about your pets, we're taking your pets. We're confiscating your pets. It's like, who does that? Well, I mean, in a free country. Anyway, welcome back to the show. It's President's Day. Barking Guy is here, and you ready to jump on and continue your report there, Barking Guy? Where'd we leave off?
We got some more quotes.
All right, let's do the quotes.
Big tech didn't fail our kids. We did.
Who said that?
Kim Commando.
Kim Commando, okay.
About parental controls. of the lack of their use.
That's true.
It controls the law-abiding citizens and not the criminals.
Okay.
A.W.R. Hawkins about gun control.
Okay. On the Armed American Radio. Mm-hmm.
This week in old-time radio history, February 21st, today, Ann Sheridan was born in 1915, Shirley Bell in 1921.
Okay.
February 22, Don Pardo. He was born in 1918.
One of the more famous announcers
On Jeopardy!
On Jeopardy, that's right.
February 23rd, the FCC, then the Federal Radio Commission, was created in 1927.
Yep.
Yep.
Prior to that, you know what was going on, Barking Guy? People were just putting stations on willy-nilly, wherever they wanted to, on whatever frequency they wanted to, without any regard for anybody else that might already be on the air. And it was causing a lot of problems, causing a lot of interference and confusion. And a lot of the people that were doing this were not televangelists, because there wasn't television, but they were doing revivals and stuff like that. Or buy this juice and drink it, and you will be healthy and live a long and happy life, and it will cure all of your ailments. And so these people would come up with these goat drink recipes, and they'd pop a radio station on the air and broadcast and convince people to do it. So the government decided it needed to come in and get a handle on the spectrum, if you will.
Yep. And February 24th, Groucho Marx and Kay Marvis were married in 1945.
Okay.
February 25th, Jim Backus was born in 1913.
Gilligan's Island.
The millionaire.
The professor. No, he was the millionaire.
He was a millionaire.
And was it Thurston Howell III, I think is what it was?
Thurston Howell III.
But you know what else he did? He was the voice of Mr. Magoo.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. And Gene Dow becomes manager of KSEP in 1991.
On April 1st. Or no, March. Yeah, you're right.
February 25th.
That's right. You are correct, yeah. The format change was April 1st, but
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
February 26th, Jackie Gleason was born in 1916. And February 27th, Broadway's My Beat premiered in 1949.
Okay. So it's anniversary day. Or
Yep.
it was, yeah. Or coming up.
Yep, coming up. February 21st, today.
Mm-hmm.
Here's President's Day, no school, both Artesia and Lake Arthur. Basketball district tournaments all week. Boys basketball, Artesia versus Goddard at Hagerman. Sides number 1, number 2 seeds. National FFA week all week. Tuesday the 22nd, girls basketball versus Lovington, 6 p.m. At home, we got a home game.
Yay.
Boys basketball, Portales at Lovington. Zia's 7th grade basketball game, 3 p.m. Thursday, 24th. Girls basketball, this should be Tuesday winner at Goddard and Tuesday winner at number 2 for the boys. Zia's 7th grade basketball game, 3 p.m. Friday, the 25th. This should be the girls basketball game, Thursday winner at Portales for the tournament championship. We got golf. JV golf. At Hobbs, 10 p.m. 10 a.m.
Okay.
A.m.
I was going to say not night golf.
Not night golf. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We got it fixed.
Yep.
Okay, JV baseball at Hobbs tournament through Saturday. And tennis at Lovington Wildcat Remix, 8 a.m. through Saturday. And Saturday the 26th, the boys basketball, this should be the Thursday winner at number 1. Sunday the 27th, Selection Sunday for basketball, results out by 10 p.m. And Tuesday, March 1st, Election Day. Make sure you vote if you live in Artesia.
That's right. Or and Roswell has a municipal election
And
as
Roswell
well.
has a municipal election. If you live in Roswell and are within the sound of my voice, make sure you vote too.
That's right. That's right. Well, there's a lot of people running
Yes, yes,
for
there are.
office in Artesia. I mean, that's
Yep.
nice. Good morning. Let's see. We have one. Oh, I got it. Oh, that's heavy today. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people running for council
Yep,
and 5 people running for mayor.
that's right.
And some goofball pothead running for dog catcher. I'm just kidding. Vote for me for dog catcher on March 5th. Man. So it is President's Day today.
Yes.
And I asked the question earlier, who's your favorite president? And I didn't know if you have a favorite president.
Between Reagan and Trump and Washington and Lincoln.
Between Washington and Lincoln, Reagan and Trump.
Yep.
Bill sent me a note. He said, let's see. He said, I deeply respect Ronald Reagan. However, in 1979, Jimmy Carter had flipped U.S. allegiance from Taiwan to Communist China. Trump worked to reverse that. Barack Obama normalized the deep state. Trump worked to reverse that once he realized it was actually in place. Therefore, Trump is my favorite president. Trump was certainly one of the more unpredictable presidents. But then again, he was the most transparent president, in my opinion. You knew what he was thinking because he told you what he was thinking. He'd tweet it. He'd have the rallies. He was constantly meeting with the media and answering their questions. And he kind of told you what he was thinking and what he was wanting to do and what he hoped would happen. And I just think from that standpoint, he was one of the more transparent. What you see is what you get presidents that we've ever had, whereas most presidents keep a lot of that stuff to themselves. You know, they don't tell the media or tell the public generally some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. I think Reagan was pretty transparent in what he wanted to accomplish, although you had the Iran Contra affair and what happened down in Nicaragua and all that kind of stuff that, you know, gave rise to the popularity of Oliver North through there. So there obviously was some stuff going on that we weren't told about or didn't know about that was uncovered and discovered by the media. So, and of course, we really don't know anything about what went on behind the scenes prior to our modern era of media and coverage. FDR seemed to be very good at communicating to the public and had a lot of public support. He won re-election 3 times. You know, he was elected president 4 times. The only president ever to do that. Sparked a movement by the Republicans at the time to pass an amendment to the Constitution to put a stop to that. We can't have people running more than, serving more than 2 terms. So, but Lincoln, there was a lot of things that Lincoln did that were extra constitutional.
Yes.
Under the premise, we've got to keep the Union together, which he did. He kept the Union together. The North won the war, and we still have, the United States. But there were some things that he did that if you were a pure, strict constitutional deal, you'd kind of scratch your head and go, well, that wasn't really allowed, was it?
Like the draft riots in New York in 1863.
Yep. And there were other things that were done that, again, he was using, we got to keep the Union together as the reasoning behind it. And kind of question your head, question some of that. Now, Herbert Hoover was from Iowa, and I'm from Iowa, and I've actually visited Herbert Hoover's birthplace.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a bad rap because he was the president right up to the Great Depression when Roosevelt gets elected. Was the Great Depression Hoover's fault? You know, he gets blamed for it.
He gets blamed for it, but actually it was going on. All that partying, all that margin buying.
Mm-hmm.
That was going on that whole decade.
Yeah.
20s.
We call it the Roaring 20s. Something else that I think was bad that probably should not have been done, and it was rectified, the Prohibition Amendment to the Constitution.
Yes.
That just was not going to work.
And it made a lot of money for St. Pierre and Miquelon. You know that place?
Okay.
That's the last bastion of France
Okay.
in North America. It's off the coast of Newfoundland.
Okay.
It's actually French territory. You can actually drive there. Well, you take a ferry.
Okay.
Take a couple ferries. You have to take a ferry to Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to take another ferry. Then you got to drive a ways. Then you got to take another ferry to St. Pierre.
Is that where people went to legally drink?
No, yeah, but that's where a lot of the alcohol came from.
Gotcha. That the gangs, if
Yeah.
you will, were going after. It's interesting. It gave rise to a lot of people that became famous in these different battles over the secret alcohol. And then you had the revenuers going after the people with the stills and stuff like that. It just gave rise to a whole it criminalized something.
Yep.
That while you should not drink in excess, and some people shouldn't drink at all, it criminalized human behavior.
Yep. And that's why they had the speakeasies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a folk song. I know there's a folk song about this, Darling Corey.
Okay.
Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? Them revenue officers coming, going to tear your still house down.
Now, some of this led to the wealth of the Kennedys, and which anyway, it's just an interesting thing to look at. I think those were a couple, and it was later corrected by another amendment to the Constitution that basically abolished the First Amendment to the Constitution.
Yes.
That banned alcohol consumption in the United States. Yeah, there's just some things you can't legislate. And a lot of people are using that as an argument on the war on drugs, but that's, I don't know, it's an interesting, because we're kind of heading towards, well, as you know, the
Pot.
the marijuana legalization, which has happened in many states across the country, including
New Mexico.
New Mexico. So, it'd be interesting to see. But you had that going on. And there's a lot of presidents that people just don't know anything about. They served and nothing remarkable happened unless you really dig into history. Like Woodrow Wilson. He was president during World War I.
Yeah.
League of Nations, he really wanted this United Nations thing, which we now have. But there's a lot of people look at Woodrow Wilson in a very negative light, that some of the stuff that Woodrow Wilson was pushing was just, not good for America, if you will.
He was a progressive.
Yeah. But nobody talks about him in that light, unless you study.
Yeah. If you take courses from Hillsdale,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that out.
Yeah. So a lot of the early presidents were all associated with the Revolution, or were relatives or descendants of people associated with the Revolution. We had Jefferson, we had Adams. We had two different Adams, right?
Yep. You had John Adams and John Quincy Adams.
Yeah. How were they related? Do you remember?
No,
We can look it up. I'm
not totally sure.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but Jefferson goes on to get elected, and he had an interesting role in the founding of the country, and he was which one did the Louisiana Purchase? Was that Jefferson?
That was under Jefferson. That was 1803.
1803, and we basically bought the middle of the country from the French, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it was called the Louisiana Purchase because that's where the population was in Louisiana, but it basically extended all the way up to the border with Canada. Big chunk of the Midwest, what is now the Midwest of the country, middle of the country.
Yeah, but not the Northwest Territory.
That's right.
Not that.
Not that.
But like Minnesota, onward, all the way up to where Washington State is. That's what the Lewis and Clark expedition was about.
That's right. Well, we bought it. What did we buy?
That's right.
Well, let's send those guys out. And they were YouTubers. And so they did you could follow them on YouTube. They were doing their TikToks and their YouTubes and their Instagrams as they traveled across the country.
Well, if they had it back then, they would.
They would have, yeah. That had to be just an amazing journey.
It was.
Yeah.
I know that some of the old-time radio shows that they talked about the steamboats that plied the Mississippi and the Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they went up they went up the Missouri, and now there's a big lake. There's a dam and there's a big lake in the Dakotas.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of fishing there.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of the Dakotas, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And it honors, was it 5 presidents?
4.
4 presidents. It honors Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, right? Teddy?
Yeah, Teddy.
And I'm not trying to stump the barking guy.
I'm drawing a blank.
But there's always been talk, should there be a 5th?
Lincoln.
Lincoln, that's right. I'm sorry. And there, from ever since that thing was completed, as history's moved on, there's always been talk, well, should we add another president to Mount Rushmore? And, Reagan was talked about as somebody they should be added to Mount Rushmore. I don't know. Do you add a president to Mount Rushmore, or do you just kind of leave it where it is because it's done and it's there? And can you imagine the environmentalists and everybody else?
I say leave it where it is.
Yeah, because then somebody's going to want to answer, well, if you want Reagan, we got to have Obama. Why? Well, Obama was the, no, that's not entirely true. But anyway, that's a debate because it's one of those debates that you're not going to settle on one. It'd have to be 2. Well, we got to get one from both sides. What do you mean both sides? You're the president of the United States. So we're gonna list them and rank them and figure out which one we're gonna put up there if we're gonna add another one. But you're okay with it just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to think in history. I mean, Eisenhower served as the supreme commander during World War II. Later went on to be the president. Would he be somebody that would qualify? I mean, you've got Roosevelt up there. Why not? Or Teddy. Why not Ike? I was mentioning to the barking guy off air, look at John F. Kennedy was assassinated, did not finish out his full term. But if you look at the space race, we're going to land a man on the moon by the end of the decade and return him safely to Earth. The innovation, the technology, the advancements in human knowledge. Now, these are all things that may have come about anyway, had there not been the mission to the moon. Because people are always trying to invent and create things. I mean, when the Wright brothers flew the airplane, were they trying to get a government contract? Maybe. Oh. And they weren't the only ones trying to fly. There were other people in the United States, the French, the British. I mean, everybody's trying to get a plane. I think ultimately to get a government contract. But my point is, had Kennedy not inspired and said we're going to do the moon thing, would these things have been developed? Would we have cassette tapes? Would we have Tang? Would we have ballpoint pens? Would we have computers? Would we have all of the things that we have today that were a result of the research and development and technology that came about as a result of the space program? Would we have them? If we didn't have the space program, I think we would have. At some point in time, they would have been developed. But it sure kicked it in the pants, and it sure moved it to be developed a lot quicker than it might have otherwise. You heard the story about the difference between the Russian astronaut and the American astronaut when it came to the pen. No, they go into space and we're trying to write, and we need to develop a device that, in zero gravity, whatever angle that you're at will, you can use a pen. And so we spent all kinds of money in research, and we developed, the ballpoint pen. The Russians grabbed a pencil. Oh, there's a Reagan joke here. Let me see if I can find the Reagan joke that he says he told. Let me see if I can find that here. You might get a kick out of this, barking guy. Let's see, because I played the one where he talked about his age, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I will not let the youth and inexperience of my. Let's see, where is it? Is it this one here? This might be it right here. Let's take a listen to this.
I've been collecting stories that are told in the Soviet Union by their people among themselves, which reveal they've got a great sense of humor, but they've also got a pretty cynical attitude toward their system. And I told this one, Bill, you'll have to hear it again. I told it in the car. I didn't tell this one to Gorbachev. There's a 10-year delay in the Soviet Union of delivery of an automobile. And only 1 out of 7 families in the Soviet Union own automobiles. There's a 10-year wait. And you go through quite a process when you're ready to buy, and then you put up the money in advance. And this happened to a fella, and this is their story that they tell, this joke. That this man, he laid down his money, and then the fella that was in charge said to him, okay, come back in 10 years and get your car. And he said, morning or afternoon? And the fellow behind the counter said, well, 10 years from now, what difference does it make? And he said, well, the plumber's coming in the morning.
The plumber's coming in the morning in 10 years. Oh, hey, let's see what we got from the barking from Kith and Kin. You ready?
Yep. Our foodie sponsor.
Yes. Oh, what a beautiful plate. I have to take a picture of this so we can post this on the internets, in the interwebs like Lewis and Clark did. Hashtag Great Northwest. I don't know. Who was the Indian guide for Lewis and Clark? Do you remember that story? That'll be the hashtag. All right, this is an absolutely beautiful box of breakfast pastries here, folks. We got a big old chocolate muffin in here. We've got some delicious scones. We've got their twisty knots here, and the icing that goes on it there. So I'll share this picture online. But look at that! Doesn't that smell wonderful? Yeah, that is fantastic looking, folks. We really appreciate the folks at Kith and Kin bringing that to us. And I don't know if you can see that on the shot yet, but I will post the picture here in just a little bit. It smells wonderful. And if you want some really, really good pastries, something that isn't taken out of a foil wrapper or a plastic thing or a tub, to warm up in a microwave, go get a fresh baked pastry from our friends at Kith and Kin. It smells wonderful. Have you kind of decided what you want in there out of that selection?
Not yet, but I will.
Yeah, we'll let the barking guy have first pick.
And remember, go dogs. Arf!
All right, barking.
Arf!
I think you got it out. Did you get it out?
I got it out.
You got it out. All right. Anything else to cover?
We got it all.
We got it all. All right. Good luck to the Bulldogs tonight.
Yep.
Very good. Well, let's take the break, and we'll be back with more in the Good Morning Artesia radio show right after this.